My problem with this format that Chris sees is very unusual is education happens to be something that I really do know a fair amount about. And I've been trying to figure out how to condense everything I want to say into 10 minutes. So my campaign person is saying, finish your thoughts. Remember to finish your thoughts. So I said, finish my thoughts. My background in education is I went to the University of Vermont. And when I got out, after doing a variety of odds and ends, I went to Johnson State College and I got a master's in education and administration, specializing in special education. And I then went to work in a private school up in Lemoyle County that had kids that were wards of the state, and working with these kids, trying to get them transitioned into the public school. And I was so successful at that the district came to me and said, well, we need somebody to organize all of our special ed programs. So that's what I did. I believe that public education is why and how this country became great. Because every child had access to it. It didn't matter if their parents had money. You didn't have to be able to afford to send your kid away to school. One of the reasons I ran for the Senate is because in Lemoyle County, the disparity in educational access in the early 90s was stunning. It wasn't okay. So it was part of my belief in public education, in the need to fix that I decided to run for the Senate. And then along came a court decision, and we got Act 60. And Act 60 to me is brilliant in that what it finally did is it took every community and it put us all in the same boat. So with more money, with less money, everybody was impacted the same way. The dreaded part of Act 60 was the sharing pool, which was meant to help contain costs. And it was hated, and it contained costs. Governor Douglas came along, and the Republicans had control of the House, and said, we're getting rid of the sharing pool. So we got Act 68. Act 68 that we're under now, and for all of you real policy wonks, I'm really simplifying this. But what happens now is that we all pass our school budgets and we send the bill into the Department of Education and they ship back the money. And a lot of the cost containment that was the dreaded sharing pool really was lifted. However, Act 60 and Act 68 have worked. And what they have and what gets talked about all the time is the financial side. And there are some issues with that, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But the other part is the quality side. And the quality of education in this state for all children has increased significantly. Kids who were sitting in their coats in the wintertime in their schools sharing math books that were 15 years old and falling apart don't have to do that anymore. Test scores in this state have improved significantly. It has achieved its purpose. So let me talk about the quality a little bit. We have, and most of you in this room will know about the Vermont Framework of Standards and Learning Opportunities. And that's sort of how we gauge how we're doing and how kids are doing. It works well, and we need to keep doing that. The State Board of Education has just come out with a Transformation Policy Commission that has lots of good ideas. And I heard a lot of people criticizing it because, well, it's just too theoretical. It doesn't give you the plan. Well, their purpose wasn't to give us the plan. The purpose was to give us some really good ideas about where they feel education needs to go in the future. They put a real emphasis on high school graduation. They put a real emphasis on teaching different ways at all levels. And they put a real emphasis on the consolidation of school districts. We have 290 districts. We could do a little fewer. It would work. I went out and I said, I think, as a possible model, we should consolidate around our technical centers because our high schools are already working there. And this isn't to force consolidation. And we get into a big argument about, well, consolidation, you can't prove it saves money. I don't want to consolidate to save money. I want to consolidate to provide better educational opportunities to all of our students. You can look district to district when they're 3 miles apart and see stunning differences in the quality of the education and the educational opportunities for kids. That's not okay. We have good test scores, but we're compared to some horrible places in this country, and our good test scores, as far as I'm concerned, aren't good enough. We can do a lot better for our kids. One of the things we do really well in the state is mainstreaming kids with special education. I have a background in special education. I talk to lots of special educators. I'm now going to say something that's really unthinkable. Not every kid with special needs should be in the regular classroom all the time. That's not where they need to be, and it's not good for the rest of the classroom. But we do need to make sure that those kids have the best education they can get, and the things they do well with other students and they really benefit from are terrific, and that's what they should be doing. But to say every child belongs in a regular classroom all the time, I don't believe is the right thing to do. We've gone to a system where we have lots of aides, and that's really run up the cost of education. When I become governor, I'm going to urge that over a 2-year time period, we take half of the money in the master's agreement that goes to educating teachers, and we match that with money from the Department of Education, and we teach all of our teachers how to use differentiated instruction. And I see Pam down here from Stowe and going, districts that have gone to this, it really, really helps. And what that simply is teaching teachers and facilitating teachers to know how to address all the different kinds of needs that are in a regular classroom. Never mind lots of kids with special needs, but how to address the needs of all the different kids. And also workstations in the classroom. This is how Milton, who took their math test scores that were very low, and in 2 years, they went up above the state average. And workstations are just areas in a classroom where kids work where they need to work. So the really bright kids are off and zooming and doing what they can do, and the kids in the middle are plugging along and doing fine. And the kids that need extra help get that extra help. And they're right in one classroom, and math scores can be significantly increased in just a couple of years. And obviously you can do it with reading and everything else. Oh, now the financial part of Act 60 and Act 68. We are spending about $14,000 a student in this state. And everybody hears that all the time, and that's we're one of the highest spenders in the country. And there are all kinds of reasons as to why we do it, and do we get the kind of results that we should get for that kind of investment. I think we can do better for that kind of investment. I think that larger districts, as I said before, will help in people being creative, in getting a lot of the issues that are in the way right now out of people's way. I think that schools need to go to, and districts need to have, a minimum, maximum policy for the number of students they want to have in the grade levels. Again, school districts that have done this have found this very, very helpful for planning out in the future. They know, gee whiz, in 3 years we aren't going to need 3 fourth grade teachers, we're only going to need 2. So ahead of time, they can plan with that teacher what they want to do. Does that teacher become a teacher of a different grade? If they're in another school in the district, that teacher that may need another 4th grade teacher. It gives you a lot more flexibility. I believe that we should have, in all of our districts, professional business managers who deal with the money. In most of our communities, our K-12 system is the biggest business in the community. We have no requirements for certification or qualification for our business managers. Lots of them are folks that have been there for a long time, and they're well-intentioned and they do the best they can. Education is one of the most complex funding issues in the state.